Connecting with Pets, a Forever Vets podcast.
Thank you, everyone, for coming back to the Connecting with Pets Forever Vets podcast. This is episode 16. We are in season 2, and the topic is Veterinary Receptionist Appreciation Week. I am Christina, and I have Victoria here.
Hi, my name's Victoria. I work at the Forever Vets Riverside location, and I'm a veterinary receptionist.
So jumping right in, I know you said you're a receptionist over at our Riverside location. Can you tell us what drew you to becoming a veterinary receptionist?
Yeah, so with being a veterinary receptionist, I really always wanted to be in the medical fields, and I've always really loved animals. Before this, I was actually not even in the medical field or veterinary fields to begin with. So it was something that I wanted to kind of ease my way into getting into medical stuff. And then just having the pets there was kind of a bonus on top of everything. So I realized how much I genuinely love working with animals and also getting that medical experience at the same time. So when getting into Forever Vets, it was funny. I actually did my interview with Christina, and I remember that day, we came in and she was kind of showing me the ropes of everything, how our scheduling works on our side of things, and we actually had an emergency come in that morning. It was my first ever veterinary emergency, and it was a dog who actually had gotten off of its leash and did run out into the middle of a busy road. They kind of came in, they rushed and everything. Christina, who's awesome at the moment, she had grabbed the pet and immediately rushed them back to treatment. And that's kind of when I saw everyone, all hands in, a very team effort kind of situation, which is basically what really made me fall in love with veterinary medicine was the teamwork that you see, and everyone's kind of dropping everything that they need to do and to go help this pet and to also help this client. Was definitely something that, got my adrenaline going, but definitely something that I saw myself doing later on in the future too, of helping out with emergencies and definitely wanting to get my hands in on those kinds of things.
Can you describe a typical day in your role?
So a typical day in the role of doing reception is we come in the morning, we see what we have scheduled that day, if we're doing any drop-offs for surgeries or having any pets spend the day with us at the clinic. We kind of go through and see who was there yesterday, and then we'll go and follow up with those patients as well. And then as soon as we start our appointments in the morning, we'll go ahead and check in patients, get some signatures and everything, get our weights on the babies, and then go ahead and put them into a room so they can start their services.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That sounds like a very rewarding job. Now that you described a little bit of a typical day in your role, what are some of your key responsibilities?
So key responsibilities with being a receptionist is definitely answering the phones. It's one of our main things that we do in a day, along with checking in clients and then also checking them out as well, just to make sure that they're coming back for all of their vaccine appointments and any booster appointments or anything else that we need to have scheduled, for medications or things like that. So with answering the phones as the biggest part of our responsibility is making sure that we're able to go ahead and schedule our patients in and answer any questions that clients call in for, and we can answer for them, obviously without giving any medical advice over the phone or anything. But it's very important to kind of deem what is an emergency and what's not an emergency, what can definitely be scheduled in for that day, if we need to ask our doctor for a walk-in situation, or if we need to go ahead and get them scheduled for maybe sometime later that weekend, or possibly later that month for whatever works for the client's schedule.
Wow, that sounds like a lot. I think sometimes when people are thinking about veterinary receptionists, they just think about answering the phone and checking clients in, but it sounds like you do a lot more, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a balancing act that we have to do.
So now we went over a typical day in your role and some of your key responsibilities. I wanted to transition to the most rewarding parts of your job, being a veterinary receptionist.
Yeah, so some of the most rewarding parts of my jobs are definitely seeing the patients that maybe didn't come in for such a good circumstance the first time, but then seeing how they can quickly turn around and how much we as a clinic have helped them. So it's really awesome seeing those, I guess, frequent flyer patients, if you want to call them that, seeing how every time that they come in, they're doing so much better than they were the first time you saw them, and definitely creating that client and pet relationship every time they come in. I definitely think that's one of the most rewarding parts of the job. And also just getting to notify and give the knowledge to clients that, if they're a first time puppy owner, if they're first time they have a cat or something. So it's really rewarding to be able to give all of the resources that we have, and all the knowledge that we have as receptionists and in that veterinary field, that people don't have on a day-to-day basis in their own house or anything, or from what they can Google. So we have definitely a lot of different things that we can talk about as far as like prevention, vaccines, pet insurance. We kind of know everything about those things. So it's really awesome to be able to share that with clients when they come in.
So, now that we talked about the most rewarding parts of your job, can you describe a particular moment that gets you through some of the harder days?
Ooh, gotcha. That's a really good question, actually. So when I think back to probably one of the things that's the most rewarding, or a particular moment that gets me through the particular days, would be a pet actually that we saw once that came in, who was not in a great situation. He was very malnourished when he came in. A very nice Samaritan actually picked him up and found him, brought him into our office and everything, and got all the diagnostics that he needed. So blood work and x-rays and things. And it actually ended up being that the pet had heartworm disease. And so it was really awesome to go ahead and give all the information we could to this client, and he was able to go ahead and go home, talk to his family and everything, and they were able to actually go ahead and give all these services that this dog needed to him. And it was really awesome to see him go through the treatment and everything, and then have him turn around, and he's a really happy pup now. He's, fat and happy, as we like to call him over at our office. So it's really rewarding to see those, and it definitely gets me through those days when we know we can see those diagnostics and things for certain pets, and then we're able to go ahead and give them the treatment that they need.
Well, now that we went through the rewarding moments and a little bit about your journey as a receptionist, what would you like our listeners to know that are common misconceptions people have about your role?
So some common misconceptions that I guess people have about veterinary receptionists in particular, would be that we don't know anything that's going on in the back end treatment. Though we spend most of our day in the lobby checking in clients and also answering the phones and things like that, and cleaning our lobby. We also do help out with those patients either for, some nail trim services, or, maybe an allergy injection or something for arthritis injections. So we definitely are hands-on where they think people think that we are. We definitely try and help out in all places that we can. Another misconception I think that people have about veterinary receptionists, is that we actually are more hands-on with the prescriptions and things as well on a day-to-day basis. So when you're calling in for your prevention or calling for a refill, so we're the ones who are kind of the middleman in between the doctor and the client to see if we're able to go ahead and approve that medication for you. And if we're able to go ahead and fill that, usually we're able to go ahead and bottle it up for you and then have it set aside for you as well when you come in.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know when I was a receptionist, people had, like you said, the misconception that all we do was answer the phone and greet people. But, as just like how texts help receptionists, if the phones are going off, I think it's important to know that, especially at Forever Vets, people get a chance to, get hands-on in the clinic. So I know when I was a receptionist, I, would, after I was trained, obviously, on these things, I would help out, like you said, with nail trims and tech appointments. And I think something really cool about Forever Vets in general is just how much each role helps each other. I feel like the technicians, I never felt like it was just the technicians and then the receptionist and then the kennel staff. I feel like we all kind of want to learn the ins and outs of each other's jobs, so we can definitely help the other person. So now that we covered all of that, is there anything additional you'd like the listeners and viewers to know about receptionists?
So with receptionists in particular, it's definitely not just like a one person type of job. It is something that's definitely a team job. We have so many tasks that we have to do in a day, and we have so many things on our checklist that it's really awesome to have that person with you who's able to tackle all of those things at the same time. So, if one person's checking in a client, it's really helpful for that other person to go ahead and announce that client in a room to the all rest of the staff that's in treatment. So it's definitely a balancing act that we both play with each other, as well as, just doing those individual phone calls and things as well.
Well, thank you for sharing that. One last question. Has there been anyone that has been an influence in your life or the veterinary industry?
So one major influential person has been my lead receptionist, Sarah, over at the Riverside location. She has been really, really helpful to me for those phone calls and those situations that have been really tough, and making sure that, we as the staff are equally as okay, because we equally, I feel, those feelings for those for those clients and pets and things that come in when they're really hard. It's equally hard for the client. I feel that sometimes we create those relationships too with those pets, and so it's really important that you have someone there to rely on. Another person though has been the lead tech in the back, Ray. She's super awesome, and she's always there to have a shoulder for you to cry on whenever you're having a bad time. And so she's also really helpful in giving you all the knowledge and making sure that you're equally learning while you're here on the job as well.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
So with it being Veterinary Receptionist Appreciation Week, obviously I would love everyone to know who's a receptionist that you are very much appreciated. The day-to-day outings and things for the clinic definitely couldn't be done without you. And it's more of an important job than I think people realize, and that, you are appreciated no matter if those phone calls that you're having are really hard or anything. It is something that, you have to just at the end of the day kind of remember that you are an important role in this, and that just because you aren't maybe the one who's hands-on all the time, your role is significant in this veterinary field.
You are very loved, and, I think just when you're having those hard days, when it just feels like a lot, just think about, the impact that you do have on these clients. Receptionists, they, like I said, they're there for the support. A lot of the times, when their babies are sick, or they need treatment, or, they get unfortunate news, like, we are really there for the support of the client. So I just want to let you guys know, you are appreciated. You are very, very, very valuable to vet clinics in general, and just thank you guys. And adding to that a little bit, just because I've been in those shoes, like we touched on a little bit, we are the first face that people see when they come in. When they call, we're the first person they speak to, and then the last people that they see when they leave. I think just, if you are a receptionist, I understand that some days can be incredibly difficult, but, just knowing that you are appreciated, you are very important to every vet clinic that you work at. And never doubt yourself, because you are essential to veterinary medicine, and you do make a difference.
I completely agree.
Well, thank you so much, Victoria, for being here. You did great.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It was a really great time just sitting here talking with you.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening. This has been the Veterinary Receptionist Appreciation Week episode. Make sure to tune in at our next episode, episode 17 of the Connecting with Pets Forever Vets podcast. See you guys then.
Thanks everyone for listening. We are Forever Vets, locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida. Visit us at forevervets.com to find out more about our community events, monthly promotions, and more specifics on animal care. Don't forget to catch our episode next week.